This is a crazy world that I built on survival. It has like a railway that goes the extent of the large world, north, south, west, east. And there's also an underground version, which is kind of overkill. I think Livestream likely won't work out. I can see that there's major lag. Oh, I also made like an underground. How do I get there? Here it is. What did I call it? Underground base. That's very exciting. I've not played this game in a long time. I can't remember how to do various things because when I start playing it, I can't stop playing it, and this is why places like this gets built on survival. Hey, piggy. So, I was thinking about live streaming Band of Brothers episode 9, but I am worried that it might go wrong. So, maybe I should just pre-record it and live stream that, or maybe just do what I usually do, pre-record it, edit it, and put it out. I'm really excited to watch episode 9, but I think that... Hello! Hi, Jackie. But I keep getting warned that episode 9 of Band of Brothers is really intense. So I'm a bit concerned about how much that I'm going to cry. I'm sure it's going to be really hard. What shall I play? Man, there's a big delay in this video. I'm recording and streaming at the same time. Maybe the recording is making it lag so much. Maybe I'll try it without recording. Right, I'm stopping the recording. Let's see the difference that it makes. What shall I play? One of my subscribers, I noticed they'd sent me a message recommending the game Life is Strange, and coincidentally I'd already bought it like a few days before I saw the message. I bought Skyrim in 2011 and I got bored of it so quickly. Even though I loved Oblivion, I got bored of it so quickly because I thought that I thought that I actually couldn't work out how to get around the damn mountains. But I recently bought it. It was on offer, so I bought it, and now I'm really into it. I think that the live stream will go wrong just because there's so much lag. It doesn't seem like it's working to me, but can you guys hear me all right? I'll have to check the video that I just recorded and see how whether the lag will be fixed or not. I'm loving Attack on Titan. I've watched up to episode 20. Obviously that's a bit ahead of what you guys have seen me react to, and oh my god, it's just so good. I just love all the new characters that they're introducing and just all the mysteries and the intrigue. And I just want to know where else they're gonna go with it. I have not seen Steins Gate, but I did notice that it's been put on UK Netflix recently, which obviously makes it really convenient for me to watch. And I've no idea what it's about. Although isn't Steins Gate, isn't that a thing, like a pre-existing thing? I don't know. But have been recommended that. I've been recommended One Man Punch, and I have been watching that anime, the My Hero Academia. Okay, chill out, Skyrim. I've been watching that with my friend, and I'm really into that. But Attack on Titan is my thing right now. Hey Damien from the States. My favourite episode of Band of Brothers so far. Karen Tan has a special place in my heart. I think anyone that's watched that reaction will like be able to tell that I was like pretty traumatized by the episode. I loved Bastogne. The breaking point was probably I think Bastogne is probably my favourite. It's so hard. Each episode has like something special about it and special characters. But maybe the next episode, episode 9, maybe that'll be my favourite when I've seen that. It seems like a lot of people are hyping that one up. And I'm sure that... Oh, you can hear me, that's good. And hey to Brazil. Okay, where am I? So yeah, I need to remember to get tissues because it's actually a joke now. If anyone watches any of my Shadowhunters reactions, you'll see the last time I owned tissues and I used them all up, and since then it's just been toilet roll or blankets. So I really need to get was Attack on Titan my first anime? I would consider it my first anime, purely because when I was younger I used to be really into I'm still into fantasy books, and my best friend at school, we used to speak about fantasy books all the time. We used to lend books to each other and we used to talk about fantasy. And then one day she started really getting into anime, and I used to be like, but what about the books that we talk about? And then she stopped being interested, and so it kind of made me like slightly resentful of anime from then. She showed me like a few episodes of Hellsing, and I was just like, no, let's talk about fantasy books. But Attack on Titan, I'm super into it. I understand why people like anime now, so I definitely would consider it my first, especially one that I'm kind of super into. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Damien, don't worry. Hey to Norway. I would love to go to Scandinavia. I'd love to go to Norway. Do you not like Helsing? I wasn't very impressed with it, I must admit. Why am I playing Skyrim? This is a really hard game to concentrate on when you're speaking. Let's go back to Minecraft. But yeah, I legitimately really love the characters of Attack on Titan. And the music, oh my god. I feel like the shows that I associate with having really good music are Doctor Who and Game of Thrones. But Attack on Titan, every episode there's always one piece. I'm just like, oh my god, I need to listen to that again. But I still haven't done it. I think it's the scores on Spotify. But I'm scared to go in case there's like spoilers in the titles or anything. But I'll have to try it out. Hey Antonio. Yeah, I would say it's cheesy, and that's something that can really kind of turn me off. I think I have another friend that is into anime, and she has shown me some things that I've not enjoyed either, because I'm unsure. I think I mentioned this in my first reaction. I've felt turned off by Japanese humour before. It doesn't match me whatsoever. But actually, I found many bits of Attack on Titan to be really funny. And I'm sure that I'll find other anime that appeal to me as well. Where are you from, second Damien? One Piece? So last year I had a job. I used to work in a PR company, and I found it really depressing, and I ended up quitting and not working for several months, and this is what I did with that time. It's ridiculous. Full Metal Alchemist. Oh, England, yay. Hi, Brian. Full Metal Alchemist. So that's the one, there's Full Metal Alchemist and there's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, right? I have friends that tell me that I should watch the Brotherhood one. I don't really know the difference, but it seems like a super popular show, so I probably should get on that. Also Death Note, but I have read the first 3 mangas of Death Note, so I know a big spoiler. So I feel like that kind of works against the point of a reaction. I wouldn't ever fake a reaction. If I've seen a show or if I've been spoiled by a certain aspect, then I'm not going to watch it. Or, I don't know. I haven't seen any of the Death Note anime. I've only seen the Japanese live action films and the crappy Netflix film. So I haven't seen or read anything after that certain big event that happens in Death Note, and I'm sure you'll know what that is. Damien. I've been to Southampton, but I've never been to Scunthorpe. That's what I associate with Scunthorpe, I'm sorry. Jackie, that's interesting. I would like to see whether it goes anywhere other than that. I don't know whether the manga is continuing, so I don't know whether it has an end or whether it's just kind of this like endless fight against the Titans, but I do think there's enough intrigue to be had regarding the characters and their interpersonal relationships and character growth, so I'm definitely very happy with where it is at the moment. Yeah, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, that's what I keep hearing, that I shouldn't do the other one. I should just watch Brotherhood. One Man Punch is on UK Netflix as well, so that would be really convenient for me to watch. And that seems another really popular one. And the good thing about me and anime is that I don't know anything about it, so I can't even remotely be spoiled for anything. Except for Death Note, because I've read some of the mangas. I also need to put out a video that tells people that I'm definitely going to react to the Pacific, because I've had like 10,000 comments asking me to watch the Pacific. Yes, I'm going to watch the Pacific, I promise. And I've been recommended Generation Kill and Generation War, which is the German one, right? And I think I'll likely do that. It's quite strange how I didn't realise that when I started my reaction channel that I would be watching a lot of shows about war and soldiers and anime, because I would say they're the 2 genres that I know nothing about. But people seem to be enjoying the videos, so, and I'm enjoying the shows, so that's all we kind of need, really, isn't it? I don't really know what I'm doing here. I'm just walking around. We can go and look at the railway station that I made. I miss Nevermind the Buzzcocks so much. The episode where Preston walked off, that was amazing. People that aren't from the UK, they really need to get into panel shows, comedy panel shows. I'd recommend starting with The Big Fat Quiz of the Year and Taskmaster and Would I Lie to You? Nevermind the Buzzcocks was a classic one. I do keep hearing, thank you, I'm glad that you like my Band of Brother reactions. I do keep hearing quite mixed reactions to the Pacific, which is interesting. Like, again, obviously I don't want to get too spoiled, but I get the impression that it kind of follows a different format from Band of Brothers in that it doesn't follow the same like company or group of people, and so people dislike that aspect or something like that. I definitely am interested in Generation War because I love to watch international, like foreign TV and foreign films, and obviously just hearing about World War II from the perspective of Germans is interesting. That's interesting. It goes off what the manga was based on. I'm surprised. You'd think that if they have a source material that they would keep quite close to it. Oh my god, yeah, the James Blunt episode of Nevermind the Buzzcut, because that was amazing. I think that was the first time that I realised that he's like a genuinely really cool guy. He's really funny. I think a lot of people obviously have mocked him, but if you check out his Twitter, James Blunt's Twitter, he is hilarious. Same with Josh Groban. Josh Groban, the episode he's on it, he was hilarious. Like, usually Americans aren't that good on British panel shows because it's just kind of a strange meeting of cultures and of humour, but Josh Groban was excellent. Is he American or is he Canadian? I don't know. Psychological aspects that happen to soldiers. Oh shit. I just looked at my my live stream and it's delayed, so I just saw the zombie come in and I was like, whoa! I thought I was going to get killed. Focus on the psychological aspects. That sounds pretty intense. I imagine it deals a lot with PTSD, maybe. Yeah, I knew he used to be a soldier. It's really funny. It's quite incongruous of the way he seems, you know, the way he speaks and just the way he acts as a person, but he's also really posh, so I guess it's not surprising that he's a soldier. Yeah, it sounds like the Pacific is going to be quite intense emotionally, or at least, I don't know, you know, upsetting. Brotherhood doesn't go a phase, that's good. Because if something's popular as a manga, you would think that they'd want to, you know, adhere to it so much for the fans. I have no idea how Let's Players do this. How do you concentrate and speak at the same time? Sorry. Yeah, I love Havoc. Got news for you as well. I love it when David Mitchell or Victoria Corrin presents it. Or the Benedict Cumberbatch episode was good, and the Daniel Radcliffe episode. Yeah, QI is amazing as well, of course. And I do actually like Sandy Totsvig presenting it as well. You know, Stephen Fry went and did the crap Joel McHale comedy show that was really rubbish. But Sandy Totsvig is, you know, basically female Stephen Fry anyway. I have no idea why I made this. Just kind of a little watery garden. Oh, the show caught up to the manga, so it was like a Game of Thrones situation. I've read all the Game of Thrones books. Those are some of my first reactions. The Game of Thrones, the most recent series. And I think that they're doing a good job more recently, even though there is the whole kind of ridiculous thing with people moving around too quickly. But I have been upset at the show in the past for making up storylines. It makes sense that they condense them, but I think the kind of putting Sansa with Ramsay was really crappy for her character, because I think it makes her look weak. You know, she's dealt with the whole Joffrey thing, and then putting her at the hands of another abuser just makes her look stupid, when actually she has learned, you know, she's grown as a character and she is more discerning now. I guess they've got to that point in the show now, but in Series 5 or whenever that happens, I was just like, ugh, why? Actually, like, I've done so much in this world that I can't even remember everything that I've done. Oh, that's one thing that took me forever. I mapped the whole world, and this is on survival, so it took forever, and it's a large world. Oh, let's have a look. Forever. Do I? Yeah, well, if you're selling, then maybe I'd buy. I never was really into Stannis. I know everyone loves Stannis the Manus, but they definitely, like, what even was that character death if he died? What even was that? That was really crappy in the show. You know, if they were going to kill him off, then they needed to commit to it, and they just obviously didn't. Yeah, I know. The map, I know. The amount of time I've wasted. Can you see how long you've played a game on the Xbox? I used to be really into Assassin's Creed, but Syndicate and Unity I did not like. I did not like so much that I didn't even finish them. And that's crazy considering I've played like 8 games that came before it. Ah, shit, my leg. But I did buy Origins and I've near enough completed it because I really enjoyed that one. I'm so glad because it's crappy when you like a series and then it just goes downhill. I wish they'd make another Bioshock game. I would say the Bioshock games are my favourite games, along with The Last of Us. Although I won't be able to play The Last of Us 2 because I don't have a PlayStation 4. I'm really gutted about that because The Last of Us was so beautiful. I reacted to the trailer. I don't know if you saw that reaction. It's so beautiful. It's ridiculously beautiful. And that's another thing that's got amazing music, like Attack on Titan. My mind is blanking. Alright. Which is this one, right? Yeah, it was bizarre how Varys just kind of suddenly arrived with the Martells and stuff. But honestly, at this point, I don't blame them for trying to kind of get things moving. You know, at least, you know, finally Dany's on the boat. I'd rather that than just like watching an entire episode of Varys like travelling to Dawn. Like, what's the point? I'm currently doing my masters at the moment in computing. I should be making a website at the moment to show my tutor as my final project. I have to make a really complex website so I can be a web developer. I did my original degree in English Lit and Film. So some people have said nice things about the way I talk about cinematography and things like that. And that's partly to do with my degree. But now I'm doing, I guess, a STEM degree. And I enjoy that just as much. I love arts and sciencey stuff. I feel like it's so boring when some people are like, no, only one of the things is important. I like the fact that I'm into both. Yeah, I have been lucky. Maybe it's just because I'm quite a small channel that I haven't had people try to spoil me. Because I do follow a lot of other reaction channels because I'm a big reaction fan. I love Blind Wave. I watch their Doctor Who and Torchwood and Black Sails reactions. I actually became a Patreon for Blind Wave this week because I wanted to see the second part of, you know, the Silence in the Library, Doctor Who double parter. I just needed to see it now, so I had to become a Patreon. And I love Seska Sage. She does really good Doctor Who reactions. And I know that she's been spoiled with quite a few things actually, but she also has like 10 times the amount of subscribers that I do. Thanks, Josh. Do I think anime is stupid or worth watching? I think it's worth watching. I said in one of my videos that I've never been the kind of person that assumes anime is for children or is a childish thing, but I've always assumed it wasn't something for me, and clearly that's not the case because I'm really enjoying Attack on Titan right now. I do think that there are some people that only watch anime, and I guess that's the same as what I was doing before. I was only watching kind of live action stuff, But I think you should have an open mind. You should try other things out. You know, some people don't like to watch foreign shows or shows with subtitles. But I think that to be a well-rounded person, you should try everything. So I wouldn't ever disregard anime. Obviously, I'm really enjoying it and I want to watch more. But I do think that people should try, you know, different things. You shouldn't only ever watch one thing. I guess it's like genres. I've said millions of times that I'm a big fantasy lit fan. It's definitely my favourite genre, but obviously I did an English lit degree. I've read most of Shakespeare. I've read just various things from various genres. I know what my favourite genre is, but I think it's important to explore other things that challenge you and you might not feel as comfortable watching. Yeah, the Dawn storyline in Game of Thrones was so disappointing. The Martells were just so embarrassing. And it's really upsetting because, you know, I want the female characters to be interesting and dynamic and, well, you know, even at least look good at fighting. But they just weren't. They just weren't interesting. I'll never get the bad pussy scene out of my head. It was shite. Well, thanks. I'm going to just demonetise myself there. Yeah, the only good bit was when crap, I've forgotten all the names now. When the Martell lady poisoned the daughter. That was kind of a cool scene. That was something. But otherwise, the whole thing was a waste of time. Damien, you should try it. My degree that I'm doing, it's a conversion course, which means that you can take it when you have an unrelated degree. So like I said, I did English lit and film, and obviously that doesn't lend itself to becoming a programmer or anything, but you just kind of need to demonstrate that you're willing to put in the work to achieve a master's in a subject that you haven't got a degree in. And I think that's a good way to try and change your life. Vikings and Rick and Morty. I do watch Rick and Morty. I have stopped watching the current series. I assume it's finished now. I stopped watching it because I think it was grating on me. I think maybe I just watched a binge too much of it. But I definitely think it's a really cool show. But Vikings, I stopped watching after I was spoiled about a particular character death. It's not the one you think. It's an earlier character death. So I guess I've been spoiled with multiple character deaths. And I mainly watch the show for that particular actor because I really like him. He's good at singing, I'll give you that clue. But I need to go back to it because apparently it's really good. And I did enjoy what I saw of it in the first place. I like the Normies as well. They're a good reaction channel. I rewatch reactions a lot. I've seen Seska Say's reaction to Vincent and the Doctor like 10 times, and yesterday I rewatched her reaction to the Adventure in Space and Time Doctor Who, you know, special thing. I rewatched that, and I also watched the Normies react to that. I wish I could have reacted to Doctor Who, but I've already seen it all. Jackie, I think that you should just, it's difficult when people are kind of denigrating your hobbies, but I think the coolest thing for a person is to enjoy the things they like and feel unashamed about it. I think that if you're the type of person who can only talk about anime and only watches anime, then I can understand why people might try to convince you to broaden your horizons. But if that's not the case, and they just simply kind of look down on anime because that's what they think about it, then I think you should ignore those people. I think there's like nothing cooler than someone who's confident in what they like. Like when I go to a bar and I see guys drinking cocktails, I think that's cool as hell. I know that there's this kind of pressure on guys to not drink girly drinks, but you know, cocktails taste great, and if you enjoy cocktails, you don't care what other people think, then I think that you're a much more interesting and likeable person. Yeah, I really recommend watching the Doctor Who reactions. So I like Blind Waves reactions, especially now they're getting into kind of the good part of Doctor Who. It's always a bit awkward to watch people react to 9 in the first series because, you know, especially in the first episode, there's some crappy CGI. It's pretty embarrassing to watch. But, you know, Blind Wave have just got up to, they're nearing the end of series 4, so they've just watched the kind of first River Song episodes, and they're so good. Although Seska says she's well into Peter Capaldi's era now, and I must admit I haven't seen a lot of his era because I did find myself becoming bored. And I love Peter Capaldi, I love the thick of it, the comedy show that he is from. But nope, I'm just not a fan, but I'm really excited to see how Jodie Whittaker deals with the show. I've seen her in Broadchurch and obviously Attack the Block. And Broadchurch is so good as well. I wish that I could find a reactor that would react to that show. Cocktails are the shit. My favourite alcohol is gin, and I love cider. So any alcohol that has gin in it. I love brambles, they're good ones. The thick of it is amazing, as is In the Loop. I need to watch the American one. What's the American one? Veep. I need to watch that show because Armando Iannucci, he made that as well, so I'm sure it's just as good. Hey Simon. Okay, I'm just going back to see what I've just been chatting against myself. So what have I missed? I haven't seen Avatar: The Last Airbender. I know about the whole controversy of the M. Night Shyamalan film, about how people pretend that it doesn't exist because it was so terrible apparently. And I know that there's a character called Zuko, I think, and in the film it's played by Dev Patel. I only know that because I have an obsession with cataloguing what British actors are in various things, which is partly why I'm enjoying Band of Brothers so much. I think In the Loop won an Oscar, you know. I did enjoy it, but I do agree that the show is much better, and if anyone's seen In the Loop but haven't seen the thick of it, I really recommend getting on it. Alcohol is vodka. I think vodka's been slightly ruined for me from like drinking it straight when I was like a silly teenager. Yeah, I want to see the Death of Stalin film as well. Hey, Mello. It looks really good, and I love Jason Isaacs. I loved him in Harry Potter and the OA and Star Trek Discovery. I know Star Trek Discovery was really quite controversial amongst fans. I haven't seen any Star Trek other than the J.J. Abrams films, so that's maybe why I enjoyed Discovery. I've heard that it's you would enjoy if you weren't previously a fan of it, because then you wouldn't notice the difference. But I thought it was awesome. I'll add Avatar to my suggestion box. Thank you. Your go-to alcohol is Ryanite. Brand of Italian wine imported and sold in various flavours in the United States. I haven't tasted that. I do like wine. I didn't used to like wine, but I'm being educated by my friends that enjoy wine. I have been to Italy though. I've been to Rome. It was so hot, but it was so beautiful, and the food was so amazing, and I would definitely go back there again. I've been to Rome, I've been to Paris, and I've been to Barcelona. I've been to Barcelona and Paris on school trips, which I guess is a good thing about living in Europe, that you can just go to other countries on school trips. I don't know whether they do that much in America. Obviously it's an extreme long journey to go that far, apart from kind of South America and Canada, of course. The Battle of Britain. I have seen Black Mirror. I'm a massive Charlie Brooker fan. Charlie Brooker is the writer of Black Mirror, for those who don't know. I love his Screen Wipe shows, his Games Wipe. How TV Ruined Your Life. If you haven't seen those, if you love Black Mirror and you want to see more of Charlie Brooker's comedy stuff, I'd recommend checking those out on YouTube. How TV Ruined Your Life, start there. He's a TV critic, and his comedy is very dark, as you can probably tell from Black Mirror. And I've read all his books. His books are compilations of his newspaper articles, his reviews. So when Black Mirror first aired on UK TV, I watched the first episode live. And it's funny because I see quite a lot of people don't like the first episode. When I've watched reactions of it, I see a lot of comments in the comment section recommending that you should skip the first episode. But I didn't feel like that at all. But mainly that's because I'm very familiar with Charlie Brooker and the types of kind of humour he has. And it was just completely expected for me, whereas for some people it's very shocking. I remember it being shocking for me. I remember it ending and having that Black Mirror moment where the screen goes black and you just kind of left looking at your own reflection. You know, that's what the Black Mirror is, in your screen, and you just see your own look of horror on your face. And it did feel like that, but it wasn't so much that like I felt nauseous and like I would never watch the show again. I would say my favourite Black Mirror episode is actually Nosedive, which is funny because it's kind of one of the most American episodes of Black Mirror, but I love the episode. I think the music's beautiful. I love Max Richter, the composer, and he did the music for that episode. I enjoyed San Junipero because I had a bisexual character, and I must admit, White Bear, that was the episode that made me feel nauseous. I think if I'd started the show with just that episode, then maybe I would have felt slightly turned off. But yes, his end of year wrap-ups. Charlie Brooker, the creator of Black Mirror, he has like 2013 Wipe, 2017 Wipe is the name of the show. And he just kind of goes through month by month, talking about the news and kind of popular culture. And he's so damn funny. I feel sorry for people that love Black Mirror but don't know Charlie Brooker's work. He is primarily a comedian. You need to see that shit. Crossing America to America count as a trip through Europe? I don't think so. Not really. The World War I Sainsbury's Christmas advert. I think I might have seen the advert. Is it the one about the famous British-German football match? I think I might have seen that one. Because once you've seen it, it sticks in your head. It is a very beautiful advert. The only school trip I went on was to Whitby. Reuniti. Okay. That's how you pronounce that wine. I always went to visit the UK. I just recently found my ancestors originate from Scotland, and I want to visit more than ever. I recommend checking out the show Outlander. I live in Britain. I live in the north of England. I can't believe that I haven't ever been to Scotland. It's mad. It's insane. But watching Outlander makes me want to visit Scotland so much. It's funny when you know, people kind of tend to mock Americans slightly for their interest in their history, in like where their ancestors came from. But I think that's just because, for me, for Brits or people from Europe, their family tend to have been in the same place maybe for a long time. Maybe not. Maybe it's just my family, but oh shit. But I had a family member who researched our family tree and discovered that our family had lived in my city since the 1500s. So boring. I just want one of my family members to be like Native American or like from Mozambique, but no, they're all from the north of England. So that's incredibly boring. Nice talking to you, Jackie. Bye. I wish I had family in any other country. I wish I had a family in another city. All my family live in the same city. I have friends that kind of go visit their family in America or go to Australia. I just wish that was the case, but if I ever went to any of those places, I would have to, like, get a hotel and fend for myself, but I just wish I knew somebody in another country. Well, I guess I know some people in other countries now. Whoa, is that a... Yes, that's a creeper. Ooh. So guys, if there was one TV series or film or anything, game, that you just wish that you could find a reactor that watches it, what would it be? For me, it'd probably be the show Luther. I don't know why no one's reacted to that show yet. Maybe it's because it's old and probably started before reacting became like a big thing. But I would love to see someone react to Luther. Obviously, I made a fan video of it. That's how much I love that show. It's not my favourite show though. I love Sherlock. Well, until the later series. But I wrote my dissertation on Sherlock and Elementary and the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes films, comparing them, specifically about the character Irene Adler in those things. I just talked about how well or otherwise they were adapted and how feminist I considered them. And I do not like the Irene Adler in the Guy Ritchie films. I think she's terrible. Like, Rachel McAdams is a good actress, but I think the characterisation is terrible. I do like the Irene Adler in Sherlock, and I do like the interesting thing they did with Irene Adler in Elementary. Man, I'm really ill at the moment. I have really bad asthma. This is really embarrassing, but I almost went to A&E the other day, accident and emergency, which I guess is like the emergency room wherever you are, because of my asthma. It's so bad right now. Wow, claim the castle and the title sister of a Knight of the Realm. That is so cool. So yeah, maybe I need to like dig further into the family tree that we've got, because I just kind of looked at it, and the main thing I looked at was where people were from, and it did all just say my city, my city, my city. And that's just boring. But maybe if I actually looked at the people and tried to dig into their lives, maybe I'd find it much more interesting. Rome. Okay, so I know that Tobias Menzies is in Rome, and he plays Edmure Tully, right, in Game of Thrones, and he's in Outlander, and he's going to be in The Crown. And Kieran Hines, who plays... God, it's really hard to remember names when you're like live. Kieran Hines played the Wilding King guy, and I've heard that Rome is like just kind of a definitive show. The Wire, I've had quite a few people recommend The Wire to me. I probably should get on that. 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps. That kind of takes me back. My friend used to be obsessed with that show. I must admit, I'm not really a fan of kind of sitcoms. I can't remember whether 2 Pints has a laugh track, but like one of the biggest British comedies, well, Irish-British, is The IT Crowd, and that has a laugh track, and I just can't bear it. I can't listen to shows that have a laugh track. And also the kind of, you know, in front of an audience, one set thing. I tend to not like comedies like that. My favourite comedies are things like The Thick of It and Arrested Development and Psychoville. My mind is blanking. What other American show do I really like that's a comedy? I can't remember. Spellbinder. Ooh, an Australian TV show. The only Australian TV show that I've watched before is some of Phryne Fisher's Murder Mysteries. And that's another actress that's also in Game of Thrones. And I did enjoy that very much. I want to watch like one show from every country in the world if possible. I recently watched my first Korean live action drama. I watched The Good Doctor, and I really enjoyed that, even though it's kind of bizarre the way they treated autism. Like, kind of, maybe it was just bad subtitles, but just kind of the way they considered it like incurable, and just the way they acted seemed, maybe it's not my culture, so the way they kind of discuss that condition seemed really bizarre to me. But I did massively enjoy that show, and I did try and watch the American version, and I love Freddie Highmore, the actor. He's such an interesting guy. He went to Cambridge and he studied Spanish and Arabic. He just seems really funny and sweet guy, but I watched it and I didn't enjoy it at all, which is a shame because House is one of my favourite shows ever, and the showrunner Howard Shaw also did The Good Doctor, so I thought I'd like it, but I didn't. Rome was the most expensive TV show at the time. Yeah, I'm guessing Game of Thrones is now. Yeah. Adventure Time. Unfortunately, I've already seen a lot of Adventure Time. Well, about 3 series. So I'm sure there's a lot of major episodes that I, could react to, but I couldn't react from the start, unfortunately. Rome is basically got without magic and dragons. That's a good suggestion. Yeah, so I have this series. Well, I haven't kind of posted a video that was part of that series for a while now, but I have Premiere Pioneer, so it's the whole thing where I just watch the first episode of a show, just so I'm not committing to watch the entire thing, and so I can watch as many things as I can, because as I say, like, I'm a fan of reactors, and there's nothing more frustrating than seeing kind of them start up a new show and you know that they'll never get to the show that you want them to see, and often the first episode isn't always the best episode of the show, of course, but I think it's better than nothing, isn't it? I'd rather watch somebody react to the first episode of Luther than not watch any of it. So that's how I started watching Band of Brothers, and oh no, there is somebody else. I think somebody reacted to the first episode of Band of Brothers, so there is one other person on YouTube, but I am the only one right now, and probably the only person for the Pacific as well, I assume. Hey, Dr. Zoom. See, this is the bad thing, because I'm such a TV fan and a film fan, I have seen so many things, so I feel bad when people recommend things to me and I'm like, yeah, I've kind of seen that. But yes, I have seen Firefly and it's amazing. Any sci-fi fantasy fan has seen Firefly, and such a loss. Like, it's just, we are living in the darkest timeline because we didn't get a second series of Firefly. Ooh, thanks for the Japanese TV rec. I haven't seen Ash vs Evil Dead, but I know that Reddit seems to love that show a lot, and it looks fun. So, and it's also on Amazon Prime, I think, so that would be easy for me to watch. I definitely agree about the rest of the cast of The Good Doctor. Like, there's another British actor in that show, Antonia Thomas, who's in Misfits. Misfits is another show that I'd love people to react to. You all need to recommend other reactors watch Misfits, okay? Because I need to see, like, Americans watch Misfits and just see the pure batshittery. But yeah, even she was so boring in it, whereas in the Korean version of The Good Doctor, all the characters were kind of sweet or somewhat likeable, whereas so bland and generic in the American version. Not that that's like a condemnation of American TV, because obviously I'm a big fan of American TV. Serenity, yeah, and Chiwetel Ejiofor was in Serenity and he was so damn good. Lucky and Sledge. Yeah, of course, I would never start a show and not finish it, even if I don't post in a couple of months, which is something that I often do. I would never leave you hanging, because I would be so gutted if I found someone reacting to my favourite show and they didn't finish it. It just sometimes takes me a bit longer to do it. Excuse me. quite... Sorry guys, my chat is messing up, so it's hard for me to see. Move it up there and then I'll be able to see it. The other thing of Misfits I've seen is the scene about how Ramsay Bolton, actor, would sleep with his sister for a slice of cheese. Yeah, Ian Ryan. The actor Ramsay is played by Ian Ryan, and yeah, it's a really funny show. It's a really dark show. I think that it's very kind of provocative and very violent. So I think some people would be surprised at the what they are allowed to show on British TV. But it's so damn good. And like, one of my favourite things about it is at the end of the first episode, the characters who have all been kind of transformed into superheroes or have superpowers, they kind of say to each other, you know, what if we're meant to be heroes? And then another character says, that's something that only ever happens in America, which is just kind of funny. You just get to see these like British kids, British chavs, have superpowers, and you know they really aren't the best people to deal with those powers. And also another character says, in what kind of fucked up world would that be allowed? And that's just Misfits all over. Okay, Robert, I'll see you then. I am concerned about, maybe I'll try and start recording again, just so I can see whether it works. When I do the live stream, Band of Brothers live stream, I definitely don't intend to be interacting with people on chat until the episode is over. I think you'd rather that, surely. You know, you don't want me to kind of miss things in the episode just to talk to people. But after the show, I'll, you know, discuss it all with you, and I'll go back and look through the comments, if it all goes to plan. But I don't think anyone would like it, especially like when I edit it and everyone's looking back at the people that can't see the live stream, people that just want to watch the edited version. I'm sure it'd be really irritating if I just keep like looking away and looking at the chat and not really interacting with the show. You know, I want to do it as normal as possible, so I'll just kind of ignore you all and cry, and then when it's finished, you all can support me and make me happy again, okay? Now my audio is ahead of the video. I did just turn on like recording on OBS, so maybe this will be an issue. Maybe I genuinely should just pre-record it and then show the video in the live stream, and then I could literally interact with it and we can watch it together. I don't know if that's something you'd be interested in. And then again afterwards I'll edit it. Yeah, I'm glad that you all agree about me ignoring you, because I'd be really disappointed if someone reacted to a show a certain way and then when you get to an integral episode it's all really different and you feel like they aren't fully paying attention to it. That'd be rubbish. Mom, no, ignore. Yeah, I agreed about the difference between Kitchen Nightmares, the kind of intense music and the quick cuts in the American version is just, so annoying. And just the difference in the way Gordon Ramsay is. He's always so much nicer in the British version. He's still that kind of angry, crazy guy, but they make him like a sociopath in the American version. I haven't turned it off, no, so I wonder whether it's working out now. When I'm watching the live stream myself, I can see that it's very much behind what I'm saying. I'm just watching myself from ages ago. I think maybe this video is so far behind. I don't know. Maybe I'm answering your questions like 10 minutes after you've asked them. Oh. Okay, live stream ep 9. Purely because I get the impression that that's the big one. I guess kind of like Game of Thrones, you know, where ep 9 is the big one. I'm under the impression that episode 9 is the kind of big emotional one, and then episode 10 is kind of ending things, giving you closure, rounding it off, I think. This sync thing is very difficult. Oh my god, I can't believe that I've been live streaming for nearly an hour. I'm reacting to myself and what I'm saying. That's so funny. This is the end of the internet, guys. I've had a few mean comments recently. I had one guy tell me that my channel is the kind of epitome of cancer on YouTube. So I think me reacting to myself is probably like ultra cancer. It might take a few minutes to catch up once you turn it on. Okay, that's interesting. I'd probably like leave it a while and then start the episode. If I do it that way, I'm still thinking maybe I should just live stream me watching the show pre-recorded. I don't know. Yeah, I do need a box of tissues. We just don't buy tissues anymore in this family. We just have toilet roll and kitchen roll. So it'll have to be one of those things. I'll have to, if you watch my reaction to the finale of Shadowhunters, you see me clutching this massive kitchen roll. It's ridiculous. Just because it was like a really emotional finale and we just didn't have any tissues. I'm watching myself again. It's so bizarre watching myself speak behind time. Oh, Damien, I'm sorry. You did say something before that made me think that you thought it was tonight. I should have mentioned, yeah, it is Friday now. I'm sorry, pal. I've wasted an hour of your time. Goodbye, Bloody Man Gaming. Gotta get up in 4 hours. Dear. That's something that I would do, and it's so bad for you. Sleep is so important. I say as I live stream to the internet at 1:15 in the morning. Don't let the bed bugs bite. – 21 hours. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm so sorry. Do you feel like they're spoiling things by giving too much away for the next series of Game of Thrones? How far are we to go? It's not this year, right? It's next year, because Westworld's on this year, right? Which I'm excited about. And I also haven't watched any of the second series of Legion yet. I've just got too many things to do. I really don't know how they're going to tie off this last series of Game of Thrones. It's just kind of absurd. Like, I don't even know how George R. R. Martin intends to do it. Well, he's never going to do it, let's admit it to ourselves. He's never going to release those final books. But I don't know how he tends to do it in, like, Winds of Winter and Dream of Spring. You know, so how are they going to do it? In 7 episodes or whatever? (18:07). Where are you in the world? Shit. Yeah, sleep for work is kind of important. I really should have taken this time to do uni work, but I didn't. I just wanted to test out live streaming. The second series has been trippy. Oh my god. Compared to the first series, I'm sure that's something to watch. I love Dan Stevens, the actor in Legion. I love him in the film The Guest. If anyone hasn't seen it, I so recommend it. I love it. It's kind of reminiscent of 80s horror films. He has a really good soundtrack, and he's so damn cool in it, and he's such a badass action star. And a lot of people want Idris Elba to be the next James Bond, but I really want Dan Stevens to be the next James Bond, because I feel like the next one has to be younger, or else they just go through the same thing of Daniel Craig again, where he's kind of too old to play the character. But but Dan Stevens, he's young and he's British, and Daniel Craig has opened the door for blonde Bonds. But I wonder, you know, Dan Stevens makes interesting career choices, so I wonder whether he would go for something as big and kind of all-consuming as Bond. Although I have seen an interview where he says that he would. Mexico, how cool! I had fajitas for dinner tonight. Is that a really stupid thing to say? I had really spicy fajitas. I put 2 chilies in this time. I'm working myself up to be able to eat hotter food. I used to work at Tesco, Damien. I don't work there anymore since I was a victim in an armed robbery, which is why I don't work there anymore, and which is why currently in therapy they're trying to diagnose me with PTSD. So that's maybe an interesting aspect to my reactions of Band of Brothers that you might not have been privy to before this live stream. I've really enjoyed Daniel Craig as well, especially Casino Royale. Casino Royale is just a classic action film now, and it always will be. It's a wonderful film. Okay, sure, Peter Dinklage has my vote as the next Bond. I'm sure he could do it. He's badass as hell. Yay! I have your approval. I do love Thai food the best. Thai cuisine is my favourite, and I love making Thai curries. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, oh my god, I've seen the set photos of Dan Stevens as the Beast. I feel so bad for him. He must have been so embarrassed. And his voice, his singing voice, is kind of modulated, but I really love it, and I wish that I could have seen him sing it live. His song Evermore in Beauty and the Beast, I was obsessed with that. For a long time, I listened to it over and over again, to a point where I'm sure my kind of end of year Spotify playlist, you know, that shows you how much, like, what your most listened to song is, I think that might have been #1. I listened to that on repeat. The petrol station was robbed at gunpoint. Yeah, ours was gunpoint as well. And there are 2 Tesco's where I live, and there's been multiple attacks in like both. It's ridiculous, really. And what's bad as well is, I probably shouldn't say this, I'm probably just going to get like randomly sued by Tesco, but they didn't really have security guards on in the daytime. They only had it at night, so obviously that just means if you're going to commit a crime there, then just don't do it at night time, do it in the day. And so that's what they did. Oh my god, got stabbed with a needle. Yeah, the guy was armed with a gun, yeah. Which is kind of crazy because, you know, obviously Britain doesn't have the same kind of gun control baggage as America, and I've always been very happy to live in a gun-free society. But it was bizarre seeing a gun for the first time. But thankfully, nothing actually happened, and they caught the guy. It's kind of a funny story, actually. The police, I pressed the panic button, and the police arrived about 45 seconds later, and I was like, whoa, like, go British police. And then when I gave my statement, they told me that the police were already 2 minutes up the road because the same guy had robbed a pharmacy just a few minutes before robbing my shop. And he had a balaclava on, which I don't think is a word that translates to other countries, maybe, but you know, he has like a black thing over his face. But even with that on, the people at the pharmacy recognised him because that's where he goes to get his methadone. So they're just like, hey Dave, we know it's you. So then they had already rang the police. So when he came into my shop, the police arrived seconds later. I wouldn't say crime is on the rise. I think generally crime is lowering. Apart from London, obviously I have heard about that in the news. But no, I would say crime is less of an issue. I think that crime is definitely more reported nowadays. As media, the 24-hour news cycle, it does kind of give the impression of a darkening world with more horrors occurring, but it's not the case. I think also, it's easy to suffer from mean world syndrome, which is the thing that people kind of get when they watch a lot of news and watch a lot of media that includes dark things, and they feel like it's representative of the world. But actually, I think we live in a relatively fine place, and that's something that I still believe, although sometimes it is harder to believe, thus the potential diagnosis. Why has my Minecraft broken? Oh no, now you'll see all my crazy thumbnails. Xbox, what are you doing? No, it's not. Don't worry about laughing. I find that hilarious. That is, I must admit, I do enjoy telling that story because when I read about it, it did make me laugh. Oh shit! What has happened? Okay, am I back? Does this work? But my Xbox thing isn't working. Ugh. OBS, what are you doing? But yeah, let's move that out of the way. Yeah, it does sound like a comedy skit. At first, I wasn't bothered at all by the event, but then after I gave my statement, the police told me that kind of more information about the perpetrator, about where he lived in correlation to where I live, and that made me upset because that made me feel unsafe. But I must say it did make me laugh when I knew that the police arrived so soon because they were already parked up the street. Damien, don't they say that you kind of aren't liable to chase after shoplifters? I think it's best just to avoid it, just in case there's any dangerous situations that you could get into. I used to work at Couriers, which in Britain is like this electronics store, and they always said, just don't bother chasing people because we'd rather lose, a TV than someone gets stabbed or something. Man, my eyes are getting itchy. An increase in assaults. That is interesting. I do feel like crime will rise when people are kind of feeling more distressed. If people are living in increasing levels of poverty, if people are not getting the government help they need or medical care they need, especially with things like mental health illnesses. If people aren't receiving guidance and help, then crime will rise. It's really important to kind of discuss mental health and the impact that it has, especially with, say, I consider myself a feminist, and I think that a lot of people automatically assume that I'm a certain kind of person, especially as I also have coloured hair. People assume that I'm a certain kind of person, but for me, feminism truly does mean equality, and that means improvements for men and women. And obviously there's an extremely high suicide rate in men, you know, as a result of it being more difficult for men to speak about mental health issues and seek mental health care. And I think that's one area where kind of gender roles serve men badly, or don't serve men at all, because if, you know, you're kind of constantly told to man up and that your feelings don't matter, then that's when kind of negative thoughts and mental illnesses kind of fester. And, you know, everyone should be able to and feel able to receive help. Same thing with domestic violence and rape and things like that. I don't know why I suddenly got so heavy, I'm so sorry. But of course, men are victims of those things too. And as a society, we should be more open to discussing those things and providing help for men. One of my kind of, in my mind, favourite examples of feminism is the actor Patrick Stewart. You know, everyone knows who Patrick Stewart is. There's a video on YouTube, I recommend checking it out, where a woman, he's had kind of like a panel, like a Comic-Con thing, and a woman from the audience thanks him for his work in domestic violence, the prevention of domestic violence. And he talks about his experience on the show Who Do You Think You Are, which is a show, funnily enough, bringing it back around in a circle, about your ancestors and family history. And he talks about how in his childhood his father was very abusive to his mum, and when they call the police or call for medical help, they would say things like, you know, you must have provoked him, and Patrick Stewart was saying, no, she didn't. But then through the show Who Do You Think You Are, Patrick Stewart discovered that his father had a very difficult time during the war. He was a soldier. Damn, bringing all these points in, band of brothers. And he was suffering from shell shock, and that's something that Patrick Stewart, like, he didn't know at all about his father. That's something that wasn't at all understood, and it's still not very, you know, very well understood to this day. And so for that reason, Patrick Stewart has said that he now supports the charity Refuge for domestic violence, and a charity also for veterans suffering from PTSD. And for me, that's kind of a perfect example of feminism, because it's improving issues that affect both genders, and from multiple angles. I'll stop talking about this now. I don't know why I got into that subject. I appreciate that, Brian, because I feel like there is just kind of a vocal minority, you know, blah blah blah, Tumblr radical feminists. But in my experience in real life, my friends share similar views to mine. Kind of, we all deeply care about issues that both men and women experience, and I do think that there's just this kind of ridiculous generalization about what feminism is about nowadays. Damien, I really think that I just feel like Sainsbury's, like, they're not worth you potentially getting hurt. You know, we had a guy in my shop where I worked who every other day, he would, I would be interested to, so I need to stick to one subject. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, like, they used to have a guy that used to come into our shop every day, every other day, and he would always steal meat. We called him Meat Man. He would steal it every day, and then we'd see him down the street selling meat to, like, passers-by. It was really ridiculous. And sometimes if we kind of came upon him, we'd shout and be like, "Oi, get out." But other times, it's just like, I'm not here to risk my life for a massive business. So, I might just leave them to it. It's not your job to be a security guard. I would be interested to hear about the source of your statistic there about domestic violence. But 100%, I wholly believe that obviously many men don't report domestic violence, and I'm sure that many men don't even kind of realise that they're experiencing domestic violence because it's not something they recognise. Just because of the way they've been socialised, and obviously that's completely unfair. Nobody should be hitting anyone. I think there's the whole argument about, you know, should a man be able to hit a woman if a woman hits her? Ultimately, no one should be hitting anyone, but I do believe in self-defence, proportional self-defence. Yes, I have 4 cats. I have Tea Leaf, which is Cockney rhyming slang for thief. I have Ziggy, which is based on Ziggy Stardust, David Bowie. I have Sherlock, self-explanatory, and I have Nymeria, which is the name of Arya's direwolf in Game of Thrones. Okay, that's fair. About a rough estimate, that's interesting. So I'm nearly finished with this series of Attack on Titan, and I need to watch the OVAs, right? I need to watch them before the second series. I don't know how many there are or how long they are. I don't know whether they're just kind of comparable to actual episodes or whether they're just kind of little extra scenes. I have no idea, but I'm excited to check them out. Like, I'm under the impression there's like specific ones about Levi, which obviously I'm very excited to see. Meat Man, yeah, I know. we always found it really funny. Stupid Meat Man. Yeah. Okay, what am I even doing? I as well as reactors, I am also a fan of Let's Plays. I love Rooster Teeth, Achievement Hunter, and they're so good at talking at the same time as playing, but I have done literally nothing in this game apart from walked around. I just can't even remember like how the game mechanics work anymore when I'm trying to speak. You know, so much for women and multitasking. Whee! Excuse me. I am going to attempt to live stream episode 9 of Band of Brothers, yes, on Saturday at 10 PM GMT. I think after I end this live stream, I'm going to watch my recording. Actually, I'll probably stop recording it now. I'm going to watch my recording and kind of judge how good or bad it is, and see whether the sync, whether that kind of stayed. How long have I been recording for? Half an hour. Okay, I'm going to see how good the recording is. If it's not very good, then instead I will pre-record the episode, and then I'll stream the entire thing, and then we can kind of watch it together. Either way, I will still do my normal edit of the show, because, you know, that's obviously the way people prefer to watch it. Not everyone wants to watch this entire hour-long thing. And also, obviously I won't be able to include the footage either of the actual show, because that will get copyrighted and taken down if it wouldn't already, because of the audio. You know, YouTube can scan these things and they just know what you're doing and they take it away from you. So yeah, so as I say, gonna check this live stream recording, see if it's any good. If it's not, I'll pre-record and watch it with you, and then I'll put the edit up. 4 OVAs, okay? Brian is a dog person. I grew up with a dog. It was a border collie / Alsatian, and she was beautiful. She was called Beauty until I was 12 when she had to get put down. And I always consider myself a dog person, and I'm allergic to cats, funnily enough. And I never thought that I'd get a cat, but my mum, like, I tried to convince her to let me get a dog. And then one day she said, oh, one of our family friends' cats had kittens, so you can have one of those. So I got one, and now I think I might actually fully be a cat person now, because when I come across dogs and they're just like so jumpy and so licky and so in the way, they're all good boys, like, let me make that clear, but I think I do just like the kind of relaxing nature of just kind of lying there and just stroking a cat. Isn't it such a beautiful mix of dog? Like, seriously, she was just the best of both worlds. Like, she was kind of an excitable, energetic dog, but at the same time she'd also relax and be kind of calm. And she looked beautiful as well. She was just like a very fluffy black and brown and white dog. And I do miss her, but I do also love my cats very, very much. I think the sync goes bad when I either turn on or turn off the recording. So, I thought I just saw a creeper then. When I turn it on or off. So maybe it's just a case of me making sure that there's kind of a big delay between when I want the edit to start and end. 2 abandoned kitties. I'm so glad that you've fallen in love with cats. I feel like, of course, all animals, you have the potential to love them all, but man, 2 abandoned kitties. I can't even comprehend how anyone could abandon a cat or a dog or any animal. Just how cruel could you be? Your cat died at the age of 22. It's my oldest cat. This one, Tea Leaf. She's 9. And yeah, I truly dread the day. Speaking of, before I was talking about Black Mirror and the creator, Charlie Brooker, I was telling you that he has columns compiled into books. He has one column that is about cats that really makes me laugh. Like, I just always remember it. And this is just so indicative of the kind of person that Charlie Brooker is, that he says that he moved into a flat, an apartment, and it had a cat flap just in the door already, when he moved in. And he kind of just discusses his thought process of kind of people coming to see his new flat, a housewarming, and everyone asking, oh, have you got a cat? There's a cat flap there, I'm assuming you've got a cat. And every time he has to say, no, I don't have a cat. And the reason he doesn't have one is because he dreads the day that he kind of walks in and finds the cat's limp body dead, because just, every day that he has to love that cat, he's just, worrying about the day that he finds it dead. And so he like, just the column is just really funny. It doesn't sound funny when I try and tell it, but yeah, he just kind of discusses how every time someone says, oh, have you got a cat, he has to relay this ridiculous story, and everyone looks at him like he's absolutely insane. And I do sort of feel like that. I majorly dread the day that one of my cats passes away, because they properly provide me with so much kind of comfort. I would like properly consider them kind of therapy animals. Oh my god, don't even, Damien. Yeah. It's so ridiculous, and the fact that they keep that particular YouTuber on is so sickening. I feel like some of the bigger YouTubers, once you get a certain level of success, you get a big head, and then you kind of get separated from reality. I can't even comprehend how that person would think that what he did was acceptable, or even just I don't know how you couldn't be so desperately upset and traumatized and sad at what he saw, but actually he just laughed. And I understand that people react to kind of trauma differently, but that didn't look like trauma. That looked like he saw something horrific, laughed, edited it and put it on YouTube to profit from. Have any of my videos got demonetized? The majority of my videos are demonetized. I've not made a single penny from YouTube. And I'm really, really poor. Yeah, no, the vast majority of my videos are demonetized. Which is a shame because I've got more interest in my band of brothers. Copyrighted. Also demonetized. Most of them get demonetized immediately. I think I would say like 8 out of 10 of my videos get demonetized immediately. I think maybe because my two main shows that I do are Attack on Titan and Band of Brothers, and I guess kind of the tags that are involved in that, war, attack, those kind of things, are automatically flagged for demonetization. However, once you get 1,000 views, you can request for them to manually check your video and decide whether it should get monetized again. And all of, like, as I say, 8 out of the 10 videos, every 10 videos that I eventually manually request when I get 1,000 views, they all get monetized again. But I'm not exactly a massive channel, so 1,000 views is a lot for me. So to lose out on 1,000 views every single time is a big loss of money. And as I say, I've not earned any money yet. But yeah, also a lot of them have been copyrighted, so I have been thinking about going back and putting up new versions. Unfortunately, I haven't kept copies of my full reactions for a lot of the things, just because I'm stupid and I didn't think ahead. Like, I wish that I could re-edit Quarantine into like a 2-parter or something, but I just can't because I deleted the footage. And obviously I could also offer it, as you say, for Patreon for like full reactions, but I was just an idiot. But maybe I'll think about that for the Pacific. Yes, the thing on the helmets, first aid kits. Yeah, I've learnt that since. It's really interesting and it kind of makes sense. It's a kind of clever place to put it because you're not going to lose it, are you? Yeah, so yeah, I was saying that unfortunately I can't go back and re-edit some of my videos to take the footage out. The only thing I can think of doing is like putting a black box over the footage so then YouTube won't copyright it. But it's a lot of effort. However, if I'm going to leave this channel up, I could eventually make money. Yes, I will add Deadwood to that list. I have intended to watch that show for a long time, and again, that's another show with a Game of Thrones actor in it. I haven't watched. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, hindsight is 2020. Yeah, I haven't watched any of Deadwood. That's another HBO series that is kind of beloved and much lauded. So I really would like to check it out. Oh, another thing that probably gets my videos. Oh, thank you so much. That's really nice. Thank you. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you very much. The other words, how do I say words again? The other thing that probably gets my videos demonetized is the fact that I swear a lot. I really need to kind of try and not swear so much. But at the same time, I don't want to kind of be boring and censor myself, Thank you. Finally made money on YouTube. It's actually ridiculous when I think about how many hours I've put into it. But genuinely, like, if you all enjoy my videos, then I am happy enough. It's just a shame that, my videos have been copyrighted and demonetized. But I guess that's what you get for being a reaction channel, really. I'm not like Tom Scott or whatever, putting so much effort into my videos. I am just watching a show and editing. But you never know. you know, I would potentially think about making a Patreon in future, but I think I would need to up the quality and the consistency of my videos. Fancy British cursing. I don't know, I would be interested to know what YouTube has got in their arsenal. Their swear list. I don't know, what could I say? Yeah, it's funny. Maybe I should like try and just use Cockney rhyming slang from now on. Get past the censors. I'm looking forward to watch The Pacific. I'm expecting to be similar but different to Band of Brothers. Hey Ricardo. I'm expecting it to be similar but different from Band of Brothers. So it'd be interesting just the way that it diverges. And like I say, I know even less about The Pacific than I do about Band of Brothers, as I did about Band of Brothers. All I know is that Alexander Skarsgård. No, that's in Generation Kill. What do I know about The Pacific? I don't even know who's in The Pacific, and that's very unusual for me. Usually I know who's in it. Thank you. I appreciate that. I have self-taught myself. That tautology. I have self-taught my Premiere Pro. But yeah, I just don't have good equipment. At the moment I'm using my sister's computer, and this is kind of the best equipment that I could get. I have a Blue Snowball, which is, you know, the cheapest mic, you know, that kind of all stat up YouTubers have. I have a Logitech webcam. I would love one day to get like a proper actual camera, and then, you know, and back up all my videos and stuff. It's just actually, you know, I have, like I said earlier in the live stream, that I did become a patron of another reaction channel yesterday, and seeing their full length reactions makes me feel more confident about mine, because there are, you know, I do just talk a lot in my reactions, so there's a lot more content that I'm sure you'd enjoy if you were to purchase the full length ones. But at the same time, there are obviously just moments where I'm silently watching it, and I'm sure there are some of you that would rather me just watch in silence, and I would say I do a good deal of both. But yeah, I feel like I have been quite nervous about the idea of sharing my full length reactions with you, because, you know, I want to give you value for money, but if I'm just like watching an episode in silence for 5 minutes straight, then I don't know, I don't want you to disappoint. Yeah, don't worry, I won't go into The Pacific kind of expecting, with any expectations. I try to leave those at the door, and I will judge it as its own show. You know, I don't want it kind of to enjoy it less as a result of a comparison. That just won't happen. I'm excited to see it as it is. Letters. I've heard about that film. I've heard that it's very intense, and I'm sure it would make me cry. It'd be interesting to see a reaction to a film. I don't know how that would be done, because the limit really is 10 minutes of footage, and even that, I get copyright striked for, you know, 8 minutes of footage, so I don't know how other channels do it. I have no idea. I wish I could ask like bigger YouTubers, like Seska says. I actually went to her Twitter the other day, because I thought I could like maybe send her a direct message, but she doesn't have that enabled. But I really wanted to ask her, like, can you give me advice? I'm just a small reaction channel. Like, what do you do when your videos get demonetized? Do you just leave them? Or do you take them down and re-edit them? What am I supposed to do? I just don't know. I am a northerner. I'm from Manchester. So I don't know if you guys heard about I'm sure many of you has heard about the terrorist attack that happened at Ariana Grande's concert in Manchester. Well, after that happened, there was kind of a big drive in Manchester to raise money for the victims. And so one way that they did that was tattoo artists across Manchester, they agreed that they would tattoo a certain thing on anybody who asked for it, if they donated £50 to the victims. And the one thing that they had to get was a bee tattoo, because the bee is like a main symbol of my city, Manchester, because it symbolises the worker bee. Manchester's kind of the centre of the Industrial Revolution, which, you know, started off kind of the industrialisation of the world. The worker bee kind of represents the community in Manchester. And so that's the story how I got my first tattoo. I don't know if you can see that because my live stream is far behind, but yeah. So I have a tattoo and it's because of that. Let's see if you can see it. Oh, it's a head now, yay! There, you can see my bee tattoo, okay. City or United? My family, even though I'm a blue girl, my family do support United. Avengers Day, I would love to go to Nebraska and have dinner, and oh my god, you have no idea how much I would love to do that with you. That would be so good. Actually, on the day that it comes out, on the 26th, I'm going to London to see the musical Hamilton. So I will be busy that day, but I will see it at the weekend. I don't know how they get away with it either. I've seen people seem to use so much footage. I don't understand how I get hit by copyright so easily when I try so hard. Scum fans, like, okay, City, I support City. I'm sorry, that's who my family support. Yeah, bees are very important to our ecosystem and they are going extinct, that is true. Leeds. Arctic Monkeys, are they from Leeds? I'm so excited for their new album. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited for the Avengers. I really hope it's going to be good because I was so disappointed with Age of Ultron. Although I think a lot of people were disappointed by Ultron. It just didn't meet my expectations at all. But fortunately we had kind of Civil War and other things. Homecoming, that which I really, really loved. I don't imagine how it could be good. You know, involving so many characters and such a big story. I can't imagine them pulling it off, but I'm excited to see if they do. Sheffield, of course, they're from Sheffield, sorry. Are you not a fan of tattoos, Dr. Zoom? I think after getting this one, I was so afraid. I had such kind of, I had basically a panic attack before I had this tattoo. But when she kind of put the tattoo needle, the gun, or whatever they use, on my skin, I realised that it actually doesn't hurt at all. So I would like to get more tattoos, but I do have on this tattoo some keloid scarring, kind of a raised bump area, and I think my skin's quite prone to that, so maybe it wouldn't look great if I got a lot of tattoos. Deadpool 2, yeah, I haven't really, I really enjoyed the first Deadpool film, but I haven't really paid much attention to oh crap, get away. I haven't paid much attention to the upcoming Deadpool film. I'm a big fan of Ryan Reynolds though, who seems like such a great guy. I don't know if you've seen the film The Voices, but it's such a wonderful film and it's got one of my girl crushes in it, Gemma Arterton. She's so beautiful. And also him, I love him too. But yeah, I'll definitely be seeing Deadpool. It was such a great experience in the cinema, seeing the first Deadpool film with everyone laughing. Like, there's nothing better than getting a good audience. You know, if you've seen a scary film. When I saw Get Out, that was a good audience as well. And there's nothing worse than getting a bad audience. I haven't seen A Quiet Place yet. I don't know whether I will see it in the cinema, just because I don't think I can bear to bloody well listen to people speaking when, you know, they're meant to be quiet. Yeah, Damien, that is something I do wish, you know, Blind Wave do full on like half an hour of discussion after the episodes, and that is so good. I find that difficult to do just because maybe I should go away after the episode ends, think about it for a good while, and then come back, because then my thoughts will be more put together. But when you're just kind of staring at the camera after reacting, it's really hard to discuss it well. And also, because I live with my family, like, it's quite difficult to get that amount of time. Like, I'm sat in the living room right now, and I'm pretty sure my dad's going to come down in a minute, and, you know, I don't have like a dedicated space like Blind Wave do. But yeah, that is my pet peeve of reactions. It's the worst thing ever when you're watching like a 15-minute video of a reaction, and then at the end they just kind of turn the video off, and it's just like black screen, and you're like, what did I watch this entire thing for if I'm not going to hear what you think about it, what you want to say about it? So I definitely try and put some in there. There are some episodes where I've really cut it off, like the Quarantine one, but that's just because I was so emotional. Yeah, the Band of Brothers live stream, it will be archived, hopefully, if it works, the entire thing on my channel. Otherwise, at the very least, there will be edited versions, as you usually see week to week, with the picture-in-picture and all that stuff. With the bearded dude. Yeah. Do you mean Calvin? He's called Calvin, that guy. God, I really need to get out more. I have my own reaction channel, and I watch other reaction channels. But yeah, I did enjoy that, I must admit. I think that's okay for the Red Wedding episode, just because it's so emotional. But yeah, he did seem kind of traumatised by that episode. It was quite funny. Oh, that's weird, Damien. I wonder why you're so far behind. Yeah, I do like to watch reactions to music, which I don't really do on my channel. I like to watch people react to Akala, the rapper. And there are some people that, you know, Akala's Fire in the Booth raps here, they last like 10 minutes. And then it's so disappointing when you get to the end and the reactor just kind of turns the video off, because I want to hear them say, he was amazing, he's like the best rapper ever. I really loved this lyric, and this lyric means so much, and I wonder what this lyric means. Like, please tell me more. But some of them don't, and it's so irritating. Who's homeschooled, really? I must admit, I don't know what to feel about people that are homeschooled. Obviously, I'm sure many are wonderful and fine, but I feel like it must make an impact on your socialisation skills, your social skills. Although he seems fine, he seems like a really nice guy. I don't know, I associate being homeschooled with like extremely religious families. It's very unusual to come across a homeschooled person. I also kind of feel that way about, you know, boys' schools or girls' schools. The kind of weird segregation that still randomly goes on, especially in Britain, when we have kind of, I don't know, maybe do you have segregated schools where you're from? But yeah, both my sister and my brother both went to segregated schools, but I didn't. And they never said that they had an issue socialising with girls or boys, but I just feel like school time is like a prime time of your life to learn how to interact with the opposite sex. And I don't know, it's a bit weird, the idea that you'd only that you'd only interact with people outside of education. You know, it's like 6 years of your life that you're missing out on having day-to-day interactions. I'm not there since the start of the Blind Wave thing, so I don't really know like much about each of them. I'm not a particular fan of one of the members, but I won't say that live, because that'd just be cruel. But yeah, I don't really know how they know each other or anything like that, but I do like their interactions. They seem like nice friends. Oh, that's sweet. I'm glad that that you kind of react that way. I spend a lot of my time crying, and I've cried so many times watching other reactors cry, like Seska says, reacting to Vincent and the Doctor, or reacting to Listen, these episodes of Doctor Who. Yeah, they make me cry. And her reaction to Adventure of Time and Space. When was the first time I saw Ryan Reynolds? Was he in that Safe House film? And Green Lantern. I listened to a podcast the other day, and in the podcast, it said that apparently boys do as well in segregated schools as normal schools, but girls do better in segregated schools, which is interesting. Oh my god, how did you know that genuinely is the person that I dislike from Blind Wave? How did you know? Because okay, I don't know whether that's a person that people generally dislike, but I get the impression that there's another member of that team that people dislike, but I very much like that member. Oh, thanks, Brian. I wish I could give you a hug. I just think that I really shouldn't be doing a live stream where I'm shitting on another reactor, but yeah, I do feel like that particular person can be a downer quite often, which isn't what you need for, you know, a group reaction. Oh no, it's broken again. Right, okay. I've done this for nearly 2 hours now, so I think maybe I should go to bed. It's past 2 a.m. So I am going to go to bed now, so I hope you all enjoyed that. I'll double check my recordings and see if they worked. I really should like start a Twitter or something so that I can tell you guys, you know, important information like when a live stream will be. But I'll just have to put up a pre-recorded one or an actual live one. We'll see how it goes on the day, but it will be 10 p.m. Saturday. Misogynistic. I agree. Night night, people. Thank you.